Five Venoms, or Five Deadly Venoms as it's sometimes called, is a 1978 Hong Kong martial arts film directed by Chang Cheh. Again, he's from the Shaw Productions, and it stars the Poison Clan, which I'll get into in a little bit. And it was produced by Shaw Brothers Studio, and it actually featured five kung fu fighters with unique animal styles. So I'll get into them in a second, but let me just go over the plot real quick. So the film starts with a dying master of the Poison Clan, and he's talking, gives you some exposition. He's talking to his last pupil before he dies, that he needs to go locate the five previous members of the Poison Clan who all know a different style and determine if they're good or bad. And if they're bad, he'll have to kill them. And if they're good, well, he kind of insinuated that all of them were bad. I mean, they're called the Poison Clan. Like, how many people do you think are going to be good out of that clan? But anyway, he tells them to go find them, and that he's kind of like a jack of all trades. So he was taught all the skills, all the different styles, but he doesn't actually know them that well, and he's not really masterful in them. So he's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. So he basically has to go off, find the five members. Now, he doesn't know their names or their faces or anything, so he has to track them down. So what ends up happening is he has to locate this rich man that the clan knew, or somebody who had money. And because he had a bunch of money from the clan, the other five members all wanted to track him down to get the money, I guess. It seemed like the story was a little convoluted in that sense. But anyway, we eventually learn about the centipede, the snake, the scorpion, the lizard, and the toad, who are the five members. And each of their fighting styles is pretty unique, and you get some exposition of that in the beginning of the film, which is kind of cool. And I believe that's one of the greatest strengths of the film, and I'll get into that a little bit later too. But so the rich guy gets killed by the centipede and the snake, and they keep referring to them. I mean, you'll know them by the back of your hand because they keep referring to them as like numbers and the animals. So, and the centipede and the snake are clearly bad. The scorpion is like an unknown. We don't know who he is, and we don't know if he's good or bad. And the lizard and the toad are the good guys, essentially. So what ends up happening is just a bunch of convoluted. It was kind of like watching a episode of Law and Order, where like it had a lot to do with the court case and people mysteriously dying and then finding out the culprit and then having witnesses and then bribing officials. And I would say that the worst part of the film really was the middle, and I don't know what it is with some martial arts films, but the middle just seems to drag on and on. So the middle got very convoluted, and it got all talkative, and there wasn't really a whole lot of fighting before then. I think there was just the one fight between the toad and the centipede. But anyway, you're kind of rooting for the new pupil who's trying to locate these all, and he's kind of just playing it safe. He's in the background. He's watching people. He's kind of studying them, trying to figure things out, but he doesn't actually participate much, and so we don't know like how good his skills are and anything until the very end. So I know he's like the main character, but it's really, the main characters are really the five members of the Poison Clan. So then we finally get to the end. There's this huge confrontation between the rest of the members of the clan, and they all have a big brawl at the end, and that's probably the best part of the film, is just the end. Because you get to see all the types of techniques, you get to see them team up, you get to see them fight and use their skills, and yeah. So let me go into my review scores. The story, like I kind of stated earlier, it had its ups and downs. The middle was very boring and dragged on, and it was like an episode of Law and Order, and it didn't really do much for me, I guess. Yeah, it was cool because they had like the five members of the clan, which was cool because, like, you know, they're all talented in their own ways, but I'd probably still have to get it a 5. It was average. Like, there wasn't too many good parts, there wasn't too many bad parts. It was kind of just right there in the middle for me. The music, also kind of average. I mean, it had a couple weird notes and nothing really memorable, so I also rated that a 5. It wasn't bad, but I would rate that a 5. The effects, there wasn't really too many effects. The most we had was just, you know, the cheap, you know, very colorful, bright blood, which you could clearly tell is fake. And nothing else. There was really no weapons. I mean, the scorpion had a couple darts and stuff, but like everybody else it was all hand-to-hand combat. So, and the set designs were just very basic. It was either interior stuff or like a little street or something. So there wasn't really much to base it on. So I had to give it a 3 just because there wasn't really anything to go off of. Like there was really no effects to be had except maybe some extra, I don't know, wire work or something. I don't know. But the fighting was a 6 out of 10. And I was going to give it a 5, but I have to give it to the 5 Poison Clan members who really kind of kept it up there at a 6. The Centipede, Snake, Scorpion, Lizard, and the Toad. If you're interested in animal fighting styles, I mean, go ahead and watch the film. But for me, it wasn't enough to make it go any higher, so I have to give it a 6. So my overall score, sadly, is just a 5. It's like an average film. It started off cool with the exposition, and they were explaining the fighting styles, and they were like, oh, now you got to go find these guys, and like you'll probably fight them and stuff like that. And I thought it'd been cool, but then it got into this big Law and Order type court case, and a bunch of witness stuff and bribery and just officials walking and talking. And then it wasn't until the very end when there was actually like a cool end fight. So, I mean, I'm sad to say, but the film's just average to me. I mean, nothing really stood out that well except for the animal styles. And even that, you only get to see it really at the end and that one fight in the middle. So, or I mean at the beginning-ish. So that's my recommendation. I would say watch it if you're into like animal fighting styles and things like that, or you just like Shaw movies and you want something a little averagey. I don't know what to say. Just check it out if you want. I would probably give it a pass, but it's all right, I guess.